We hit the highway again, this time with Steve the cow jogging faithfully beside us like an oversized, four-legged bodyguard. Every time Dad tried to speed up, Steve found a way to catch up. Every time we slowed down, Steve slowed too, mooing like he was checking in on us. Maybe he thinks we're his herd now, Mom said, half joking. Dad groaned. I am not raising a herd on vacation. But raising a herd suddenly felt like the least of our problems. Because 20 minutes later, flashing blue and red lights filled the rearview mirror. A police car was pulling us over. Oh, fantastic, Dad muttered, steering to the shoulder. This is exactly what we needed. The officer strolled up to the window, adjusted his sunglasses, and said the sentence that nearly broke Dad's brain. Sir, is this your cow? Dad slammed his forehead against the steering wheel. Why does everyone keep asking me that? The officer pointed toward Steve, who had calmly plopped himself down beside the car, chewing grass like this was his scheduled snack break. Because, the officer continued, it's illegal to drive with livestock outside a secured vehicle. That cow is a traffic hazard. Grandpa leaned forward, grinning. Not a hazard, officer. That's Steve. He's family now. The officer blinked. Steve? Yes, my brother said proudly. Steve the cow. He's our emotional support animal. Mom gasped. Brilliant idea. Dad nearly had a meltdown. We are not claiming a cow as our support animal. But the damage was done. My cousin was already filming, whispering, this is pure internet gold. My aunt was passing smoothies to the officer like a bribe. And Steve? Steve licked the officer's uniform, leaving a massive wet patch on his sleeve. The officer sighed, clearly regretting every career choice he'd ever made. Look, I don't get paid enough for this. Just, keep him under control. And with that, he walked away, shaking his head. Dad sat frozen, gripping the wheel. We have to lose the cow. Tonight. Or I swear, I'll abandon this car and walk home. But Steve had other plans. When we pulled into our motel for the night, Steve followed us right into the parking lot. People gasped, pointed, and took pictures. The motel clerk shouted, no pets allowed, but Steve ignored him and strolled straight to our room door like he owned the place. Somehow, Steve ended up sleeping in the middle of the parking lot. Every time a car pulled in, he mooed loudly, waking up half the neighborhood. At one point, someone leaned out of their window and yelled, "Shut up, cow." Steve mooed back, louder. By morning, Steve had become a local celebrity. Strangers were feeding him apples. Kids were posing for selfies. Someone even brought him a blanket. And Dad? Dad looked like he hadn't slept in 3 years. We leave at sunrise, he whispered, eyes bloodshot. And we ditch the cow. No matter what it takes. It sounded dramatic. But the problem was, Steve was already waiting by the car, ready to hit the road again. And as Dad started the engine, something happened that none of us expected. Steve blocked the exit. He stood in front of the car, refusing to move, mooing in slow, ominous tones. It wasn't playful anymore. It wasn't friendly. It was determined. Grandpa leaned forward, eyes wide. Good Lord, the cow doesn't want us to leave. And for the first time, no one laughed.